So what you will see here is we have already set this spacing in the factory. So this never has to be adjusted. This is always set. Everything is controlled by the QPR, the quick pivot release. So everything that is being controlled with this is done by this knob. What should never ever happen is that this be tightened up and this snaps into place. That should never ever happen. This should always be loose and you bring it up and it just comes into place. I'll show you how we do that with a piece of metal. But first, these bearings in here can easily be crushed if we're snapping this in place. This handle can also be cracked and popped right off if we're snapping this into place. Also, this part of the blade is not the part of your squared round that you're bending. All your bending is done down here. So if that handle is snapped into place, it can also bend this leverage bar that is in here, which we are finding some guys are having a problem with. So it's very imperative that when you get your machine, you watch this video. Everybody who's going to be operating it should be instructed on how to operate this machine. So this is what you do not want. You do not want this handle at any time snapping into place. This needs to be turned back so that when you're operating this, it just moves up nice and free. We control this handle by the amount of pressure you want to put in your kink in your squared round. So if it's not squaring up at 90 degrees when you're at the end of your kinking, then just tighten this up a little bit, maybe a half a turn, try the other side. So my spacing on my blade and the top of my die should be the same, very close to the edge of the highest part of my die. I can control the height of this spacing by opening up my QPR and turning this dial back. Closing it again, and it releases my blade, so I have more spacing in here. So if you're running 26 gauge, 24 gauge, 22 gauge, or 20 gauge, you control that spacing by the amount of pressure you put using this knob. Take the QPR off, and there's your bend.